If you're here and I'm here, then who's driving the car?
Alright, we're doing, 2026, Earth Patch Notes. I've been waiting a long time for, this to come out, and I'm glad, that it, did. So, no, particular order. But we're just gonna get right into it. Alright. I think the biggest addition of the year was the addition of the new status effect to the game of Brainrot. This is a game changer of a new status effect to the meta, completely changing how users of internet-based subclasses interact with each other. And it's affected other people outside of it too. You see the popularization of Brainrot and how that's affecting people in completely unrelated parts of the game. So, this is one of the things where I don't really know what the mods are going with this, but we're just gonna see where they go with it. Building off the Brainrot status effect, we have a new event. In the notes, it's just listed as 6-7 here. But this is, of course, referring to the 6-7 verbal spell that can be cast on older players who have had their character for longer amounts of time to cause the confusion debuff. Now, it depends on who you're talking to. Some players say that it doesn't affect them at all. Some players say that it's an overpowered verbal command, but we have yet to see if this can be used in the meta or it's more of like a troll build. New item in the shop, Labubu Loot Crate. I was really excited to see a new loot crate dropped. We haven't seen any new loot crates dropped in this game in a good while. So to see any kind of gambling added back into this game after Prohibition, the Prohibition event kind of squandered all the best opportunities to go gamble. This is a good way to introduce that mechanic back into the gameplay, and hopefully in the future we can see it more in the meta, like the Brainrot. Alright, what do we got here? User Sean Diddy Combs warned for using a dupe glitch to spawn alcohol inside of restricted areas. I feel like this should be like a bannable offense. I know a lot of people have done this before, but the thing is, Sean Diddy Combs is known for skirting around the rules and evading mod staff. He's kind of got a reputation for doing that. So I feel like he should be banned at this point, but I don't know. I don't know what they've got in mind. The mod team is very secretive about these kinds of things, why they do what they do. So I can only guess that they're trying to keep this guy along. Maybe he's one of the mods on the inside. Maybe he's a lead developer, somebody above the mod team. But that's just me talking off the top of my head here. Buffed the performative male subclass. I did see that come into play when people both equipped quarter zips and matcha drink at the same time and combined the buff to basically create a new subclass, the performative male. So I suppose they just added it to the game because people were playing it like a subclass. So it's like, second nature. Why not? What else we got? New map. This is a variant of the Los Angeles map. It was only available for a short amount of time, but the Inferno map was a big game changer in those dedicated servers. Me personally, I don't play in those servers. I've never even been there. I don't know a whole lot about those servers, but I do know that they seem to be trying to push forward a new hotter like gameplay here. They're trying to make the gameplay a lot hotter than it was in the past. I think they've still got the Ice Age update in mind when they're thinking of these things, and they're like, hey, why don't we do the opposite of what the Ice Age update was, and what it did to the gameplay, where instead of the Ice Age effects and frostbite debuffs and those, instead we'll do the opposite of those. And I think that's really smart, because it completely flips that on its head, especially in colder areas, which completely shift from being these cold places where you need to have one kind of meta into a different place. And I think that will completely change how people play the game. But again, that's just me. New spell, Standing on Business, causes confusion for 20 seconds, but you're immune to it if you're brain-rotted. Again, this is I don't really know what they're trying to do here. I don't really have a whole lot to say, because I don't really know what this adds to the game. I don't really think it changes the matchups and how like gameplay really affects each other, but it's here, so I've gotta mention it. Next, banned user Charlie Kirk for using a passivity exploit to avoid the public backlash event. Now, this one was this was a game changer. There are still players to this day that say that the Charlie Kirk user should not have been banned. I personally think it was a long time coming. This, as you can see here, he was banned for avoiding the public backlash, because what he would do to grind XP is he would go to places with low XP players, pretend to be on their level to get into verbal matchups with them, and then completely crush them just to grind XP. And I think that's real scummy. I think he should have been playing with people on the same level as him. He should have been playing with the same skill level, and he should have not been doing what he was doing. But he got banned, so, no harm, no foul, I guess. Going back to what we were talking about before, max global temperature raised by 0.04 Celsius. This is what I was talking about before. I'm not going to dwell on it again. Everything's hotter. Don't really know what they're doing, but that's what I think they're trying to do. The Dire Wolf has been re-added to the game. Again, this is another one where I'm like, I don't really know what they're trying to do with this. But if we're taking in the what I proposed before with the Ice Age event, they might be trying to do a variant of the Ice Age event where they have, hot versions of the Ice Age enemies that didn't exist before. The Ice Age event ended, a lot of these things died. I think this is what that is. Maybe they're bringing back this animal now so they can use it later as like a fire wolf or something. I don't know. Intimidation method diss track has been buffed, added a charisma check. We saw this used to nauseam this year. In this previous update, we've seen the diss track Carla. We've seen the diss track used to nauseam this season. I think the addition of a skill check really adds to the viability of this and takes the meta in that sort of subclass of the music world or the music genre and includes it in a broader sense of intimidation. We were talking before about Charlie Kirk and how he intimidates people and how he tricks lower level players. This is for people that are actually playing fair to kind of have more engaging fights. Good change. Fix bug where the social media minigame was bugged for 12 in-game hours. This was really big for a while, but we don't even, everyone's kind of moved past it now. So, enough said there. The silent but deadly perk has been completely removed after the Lover robbery. I don't actually know how to pronounce the name of that server. Lover. I don't know what the people in that lobby are on, naming it like that, but it doesn't matter. Okay, this is one of those things where it's like I can see what they were trying to do, but whatever the bug was that allowed people to abuse it during that specific robbery, it's completely unknown how they did that. It's not known how they got away with it, and it's not exactly known why they had to remove the entire perk, but that I'm thinking personally that must mean that the bug is completely integrated into that perk, so they removed it for the time being. Hopefully we can see this again in the future. Hopefully they bring this back, maybe tweak it a little bit, but for the moment it's been removed, and I think that's a loss for the people that have already had it. I believe those players have been rewarded XP for it, but I don't know. Okay, this is another controversial one. CEO class buffed after Coldplay concert kiss. Cheating action now 25% more difficult to proc for the CEO class. This one I don't like. This is a change that I am not for. For most of the game's history so far, the mods have paid really good attention to the balancing of the CEO class and making it just as overpowered as possible. I believe it's so powerful just because of the fact that there's only a limited amount of people allowed to play that class at a time, a very small number, and so they make it really, really entertaining and fun while you're playing it to make up for the fact that so few people can do it. But I don't think they need to be buffed anymore. I think for everyone else, it is harder for everyone else to play the game and have fun at the expense of these guys' fun. Like, these players get to do basically whatever they want. They get to... the closest that we have ever had to a creative mode in this game, and they just kind of do whatever they want. I don't think buffing them is the solution to this. I feel like that should have been left there as an Achilles heel to that to that strategy, because as we all know, the CEO subclass loves to get into extramarital affairs for the extra buff that it provides, but it's difficult on everyone else because the cost of that is not damage to yourself but emotional damage to those that you're in contact with. So it's kind of like it's iffy. But the CEO subclass players typically don't care about other players or their feelings. User Sydney Sweeney warned for trolling. This is the one that some people still talk about, is the Sydney Sweeney trolling campaign with the advertisement that they put out. That's, there are hundreds of people more equipped to talk about it than I am, but if I had to give my 2 cents on the topic, I gotta say like that I personally thought it was really funny. But I understand you can't grief. One thing that they're pretty good about moderating is like griefing and trolling on a mass scale, and that's one of these things. So you need to stay on top of those. And last one, kind of hitching back to what we were talking about before, fixed a bug where the talk show minigame was bugged for 2 in-game weeks. Again, not a whole lot going on there, but it's something to keep on top of. So that was this year's patch notes for the Earth Online multiplayer game. I haven't played single player in a while, so I don't know how that's going, but the multiplayer has seen a lot of different changes this year, and I'm hoping in 2026, this season, gets a whole new batch of even better ones. If you're asking me what I would like added to the game, I think they should add an easier way for the YouTuber subclass to get subscribers. You guys can help with that, but I'm going to shoot myself